All right. We're going to start with doing the volume of a cone. The volume of a cone is very similar formula to the volume of a pyramid. It's 1/3 area of base times the height. But the area of base is special because it's a circle. So it's just pi r squared. So we can rewrite this as 1/3 times pi times r squared times h. If you look on the cone up there, what is the height of the first cone? Don't say it out loud. I'm going to call on someone. How about I call on... I already know the answer. Kelly, what's the height of that cone? Right here. Right here, what's the height of this cone? 13 what? We're on volume of cones. Who should I call on next? All right. 1. What is the radius of this cone? 10 centimeters. So let's set up this equation together. 1/3 times pi times r, which is 10 centimeters squared, times h, which is 13 centimeters. Plug that into your calculator, and let's see what we get. 1/3 of pi times 10 squared times 13. 13.5? 0.4. Okay. What is the height of this cone? Anyone can say it. Wrong. 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 That's slant height. This 10 inches is equal to slant height. Oops. Guess what we're going to be using to find this height right here? We're going to be using Pythagorean's theorem. So it's going to, we know Pythagorean's theorem is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Okay, let's rewrite this using our specific formula, our specific triangle here. We know it's going to be the radius squared plus the height squared is equal to the slant height squared. That's a special Pythagorean's theorem just for these cones. Radius is 8, so 8 squared, you know this is 8 inches, plus h squared is equal to 10 squared. 64 plus h is equal to 100. Radius squared plus height squared. Subtract 64 from both sides, and we get h squared is equal to 36. H is equal to 6 inches. Well, you want to know an easier way to do it? Remember those shortcuts that you guys always complain about? Okay. We have a triangle that is an 8 and a 10 and an x. Do you guys remember Pythagorean triplets? What if we divide 10 by 2? What do we get?
5.
We get 5. What if we divide? Okay, we get 4. Who remembers a Pythagorean triplet that has a 5 and a 4 in it? Yep. 3, 4, 5. And since we divided this by 2, what do we need to multiply this by? And we get 6. So you should actually be able to look at this and already know it's 6. Remember those shortcuts that you guys were complaining about? Yeah. You all complained about them. All right. volume formula is 1/3 of pi times the radius of 8 inches squared times 6 inches. 1/3 times pi times 8 squared times 6. We get 402.1. 402.1 inches cubed. 402.1. It's right here. I didn't say anything.
Yes.
That's an affirmative, Joanna. Affirmative, yes. I believe that.
Yeah. That's not. Oh, that was what you said. What was it?
Oh, I forgot a couple of announcements.
Test.
We have a test on Wednesday. Before. Well, you know what? I think you guys are going to do fantastic because you guys are all my little stars. Oh. Okay. That is true. That is all I drink.
I still have water in it. I can diabetes.
Not from Diet Coke. Mm-hmm.
Diet Coke was even worse.
Okay. Okay. This one. Now we're trying to find the volume formula. Not the volume formula, the surface area formula. Lateral surface area is pi r slant height. Lateral surface area is pi r slant height. Total surface area is pi r slant height plus the area of the base, which is pi r squared. The height here is easy to find. What's the height? 13 centimeters. Radius is also easy to find. What's the radius? 10 centimeters. Slant height is not 15 centimeters. We need to figure it out. We have to use Pythagorean's theorem. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. 13 squared plus 10 squared is equal to c squared. 169 plus 100 is equal to c squared. 269 is equal to c squared. Take the square root of that. 16.4. C is equal to 16.4. So if we want to, we could write an equation for slant height of a cone. It would be slant height squared is equal to radius squared plus height squared. Or slant height is equal to the square root of radius squared plus height squared. Both. You can use that if you want. Finding slant height. This will find slant height. Lateral surface area is pi times r. R was 10 centimeters times slant height, 16.4 centimeters squared. Oh, no, not squared. I'm sorry. Just normal.
So you do the r squared plus x squared and you take the square root of it?
Then take the square root at the end. You can put this all in at once, but you gotta be careful doing that. You have to make sure you know how to do that in the calculator correctly. Pi times 10 times 16.4. Clarissa. Yep, 515.2 centimeters. R squared. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys are all bothering me right now. Okay. We need to plug this in here. Pi times r, which is 10 centimeters, times slant height, which is 16.4 centimeters. By the way, that's this, plus pi times 10 centimeters squared. Well, it's not as bad as you think it is because we already know this part. We already know this part is 515.2. So all we really need to do is say 515.2, which is this part here, plus this section, plus pi times 10 squared. 829.4 centimeters squared. Not cubed, surface area. If you think this formula is too complicated, there's another one you can use. It's actually the same formula. What you do is you say you have pi times r slant height plus pi r, and instead of squared you write r times r. You should notice this is the same, this is the same. So we can distribute that out. Pi r times slant height plus radius. This is the same formula as this. I don't know if that's easier for you to use or not. It's less keystrokes on the calculator at least. Yes, you may. All right, take out your homework from Friday. Just grab one. Grab it. Grab it. Just take it.
They were right. How many times? I mean, never mind.
That one.
Sure about that? No, I gotta find stop. Oh yeah. So.
Okay, we're starting. Okay, when I say we are starting, that does not mean continue talking. 1. All right, what is the name of this prism? A rectangular prism. Don't yell out the answer. What is the length of the base, Jonathan? What is the length of the base of this prism? 12 yards, you're correct. What is the width of the base of this prism? Don't yell it out loud. I said don't yell it out loud, Blake. The answer is 10 yards. What is the height of the prism? Valeria. Ooh, Valeria's not paying any attention. What is the height of this prism, Valeria? Well, you should think, Jonathan. 12 yards. No, it doesn't really matter. You could switch these two around. Doesn't matter. Perimeter. Perimeter is going to be 12 plus 10 plus 12 plus 10, which is 44. An easier way to do it would be 12 plus 10 is 22, and since this side is mirrored with this side, you just multiply it by 2. 22 times 2 is 24. Sorry, 44. Base area is length times width of base, which is equal to 12 times 10, which is 120 yards squared. Lateral surface area is perimeter times height. The perimeter was 44 yards squared times height, which was 12. 528 yards squared. And then the total surface area is P times H plus 2 area of bases, which is equal to, we already know P times H is 528 yards squared, plus 2 times the area of base, which was 120 yards squared. So 528 plus 2 times 120. 768 yards squared. Name of the prism. What's the name of this prism? Don't yell it out loud. Who should I call in? That's what I'm looking for right now. Leslie, what's the name of this prism? A rectangular prism, and you have to say it like that. Like how you said it. All right. All right. What is the length of the base of this rectangular prism? Who should I call on? Oh, I know. Brianna. What is the length of this rectangular prism? Are you sure about that?
Yes.
What else could it be? What? I don't know. Okay. It can be both. This is 8 meters. This is 12 meters. It doesn't really matter. You can switch those two around. The height is 6 meters. The perimeter is going to be 8 plus 12, 20 times 2, which is 40 meters. You can switch these two around. It doesn't matter. You can actually do these two as well. It just changes the perimeter and stuff. Area of base is length times width, which is 8 times 12, which is 96 meters squared. Perimeter, our lateral surface area is perimeter times height, which is 40 meters times height, which is 6 meters. 40 times 6 is 240 meters squared. Surface area is P times H plus 2 bases. We already got this number, so we need to add 2 bases to it. So 240 plus 2 of these, 2 times 96. We get 432 meters squared. Name of the prism. What's the name of this prism? Who should I call on? All right. What's the name of this prism? Excellent job. Triangular prism. What is the base of this triangle? Clarissa, what is the base of this triangle? 8 what? 8 feet. And Clarissa, what's the height of this prism? What's the height of this triangle? And could you have switched these two around? Why not? The equation is 1/2 base times height. Is height times base the same thing as base times height?
Yes.
Is 8 times 5 the same as 5 times 8? So does it really matter which one's the base and which one's the height?
So you can be like base of triangle is 5.
We could totally say the base of the triangle is 5.
Oh yeah. If you twist it right.
If you just flip it up. All right. What is the height of this prism? 10 feet. The perimeter of the base is easy. It's 8 plus 5 plus, we don't know what that is. We're going to have to use Pythagorean's theorem. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. 8 plus 5 squared is equal to c squared. 64 plus 25 is equal to c squared. 89 is equal to c squared. C has to be equal to 89, square root of that, 9.4. This is not 9.4. This side here is 9.4. What do we need to add to it to find our perimeter? 5 and, 13, 5 and 8. So 9.4 plus 5 plus 8. And we'll call that 22.4. Base area for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. 8 times 5. What's half of 8? What's 4 times 5? 20 feet squared. Perimeter is, allow surface area is perimeter times height, or 224 feet times height, which is, it's height of the prism, not height of the triangle. So 2.4 times 10 is 224 feet squared. To find total surface area, you need to take 224 feet squared and add 2 times the area of the base, which is 20 feet squared. So it's essentially 224 plus 40. 264 feet squared. What is the name of this prism? Who should I call on? Oh, I know who I should call on. Leslie. Triangular what? Triangular prism. Base of the triangle. What's the base of this triangle going to be? 9 centimeters. What's the height of this triangle? Centimeters. What's the height of the prism? 12 centimeters. What is the perimeter? It's 9 plus 9 plus whatever this is. Who can guess what that has to be? If you look over here, it has to be, since this is 9, that's 9. 9 times 3 is 27 centimeters squared. Base area is 1/2 times base times height of the triangle. 0.5 times 9 times 7.8. 35.1. Lateral surface area is perimeter times height. 27 times 12, and we get 324 feet squared, and then the surface, centimeters squared. And then for the total surface area, we're going to do 324 centimeters squared plus 2 of these. .394.2 centimeters squared. Okay.